Which way to cast your steel mace when you're doing 360s is kind of up for debate. I have my theories and we're going to run through why. When you're first learning how to do a steel mace 360-degree swing, probably one of the first things that you're going to ask in your head is, which way do you go to start with? Now, when you've got both hands on the mace, in the grand scheme of things in the early days when using lightweights, it doesn't really matter. I know, burst a bubble, straight on, but there are more reasons for why you want to choose a particular direction, especially as you advance and get into heavier weights. To demonstrate this, I'm going to work backwards. The single arm 360 is evidently a harder version of a 360 swing. So you're using a single arm, that means all the weight, all the pressure is going through one arm rather than being split, I wouldn't say evenly, but a better ratio between both hands. Now, for those that have done mace swings before, you'll probably find that when you do a single arm 360, the first thing you do is cast it over the opposite shoulder. So for those who aren't particularly used to it, the first direction you go is the way your pointy finger points, surprisingly enough. So when you have your arm set, your index finger will point. That is the first direction that the mace head moves in. So you do single arm and it goes that way. Well, if a single arm is only half a double arm, then why is it kind of up for debate that we'd go the other way and the first thing you do is cast by going the opposite direction? Food for thought, potentially. Now, another reason why I feel, this is just kind of my opinion, there's no set scientific reasoning for this, is that when we look at 10 and 2s, so the more competitive steel mace swinging, where we go from one to the other. Now, granted, they go both ways. So when we do 10 and 2s, that's the way of doing it, it goes both ways. However, if you ever watch anybody do single arm 10 and 2s, you'll notice that the mace head casts, it first starts its fall in the direction the index finger points every time. Now, it can be done the other way, but it's a bit weird and kind of don't get as much power from the torso. So it kind of goes opposite, whereas when we go in the direction we can point, that feels better and I can get more power from the torso when I do it. Now, you could argue, because that's the way I learned to start with, was to cast the mace or metronome the mace in the direction I could point, I'm just now so incredibly used to that trying to do it the other way is just odd. Now, I can do it that way, like a single arm 360, but to me it feels more like a mill than a traditional 360. There is a third reason of why I feel that we should cast the mace, we should start the swing going in line with the direction we can point. Now, I would love to overlay some wonderful graphics here. However, I'm getting these videos to you for free because I don't have a media manager or anything like that. I try and do all these on my own. And let's be frank, I'm not that good at editing videos enough to start overlaying power graphs and things like that. So you have to try and use your imagination with me here, please. I'm going to try and talk you through it. So, when we initially lift and the metronome up into the high guard position, there's not a huge amount of weight. It's only the weight of the mace itself opposing gravity at that time. So in that position, when we lift, your lead hand, which should be the dominant hand, the controlling hand during the duration of the swing, is a bit kinked in line with the mace. Right? Your wrist wants to be nice and firm, nice and straight in a 90-degree angle to the mace. That's your firmest, strongest grip. When we lift to start with, we don't have that 90-degree grip. There's like I said, there's a kink, there's a bend in the wrist. But you know what? At that point in the swing, it is at its lightest and least amount of force and resistance. However, after we've gone through the first and second phase, so first being metronome, second being high guard, the third phase in the pendulum, where the mace brings most of its torque, you're getting the weight of gravity through the mace and momentum and acceleration. Force equals mass times acceleration, right? So we've got a mass, our weight, it's now been accelerated down with gravity and a bit of help from ourselves. So at this point, when the mace is behind us, it's at its highest force. Now granted, the lead hand has still got a bit of a kink in it. There's not a lot we can do about that unless we hold the hands up high, but then we start to get elbow problems. However, as the mace comes back out of the swing into that high guard position, the second one, where there's still not peak force, but a lot of force, your wrist then becomes more in line. So my wrist bones joint is nice and lined up. So at one of the hardest parts, not the hardest part, but for a percentage more of the mace swing, our wrist is in line as we pull back down to the rack position. So that's what I feel we should do it. Now let's go the other direction. Let's say we cast to start with going the opposite way over the lead shoulder, and you'll find, yes, as we metronome and high guard, the wrist is in alignment and we've got all that funky, lovely joint stability. Great, but it's not at its peak force. As we lift it, we've got a straight wrist, it goes behind into that peak force. The peak force, we've got a kinked wrist anyway again, same as going the other direction, so it matters not for this period. But as we come out of the swing, our wrist is then kinked. So it's not the highest force, but it's still the pretty high percentage of effort and resistance that you have to hang on to once that mace has picked up its speed and we come round. So going single arm, we cast in the opposite arm, opposite shoulder direction, the way our finger can point. And I'll probably try and slow this down by choking up a bit. We're in a kinked position, kinked position, kinked position. Wrist is more in line as we pull out. However, if we go the other way, yeah, wrist is in line when the mace is at its lightest. Peak force, wrist is kinked again. But as we come out, the wrist isn't in line. And even there, I'm struggling to hold it with a choked position. Whereas if I go the other way round, I can hold that because my wrist is in alignment. But go the other way, that just gets tricky to hold. Hopefully that explains my reasoning as to why we want to cast the mace, start the swing in the direction you can point. Early days probably won't matter, your wrist might be strong enough to handle the lighter weight, so like a 3 kilo, but as you get heavier, as you get more proficient, the mace swings faster, you will want your wrist to be in alignment for a greater proportion of the higher force. If that makes sense. If I'm not making sense, do let me know and I'll try and come up with another way of explaining it, maybe even trying to explore some of these graphics, or if any of you know a way of I can overlay graphics that don't involve having to hire a media manager, please do let me know because that'd be super handy.